The Ford Focus is the best-selling family car in the UK. You really can't go anywhere without seeing one. So why should you pay attention to the new 2018 model? Well, firstly, there's the new exterior design, which sits on an all-new platform, and this design's actually got some mixed reviews. Some say it's a bit messy, some say it's a bit too conservative. Well, I really like it. It reminds me a bit of the Mazda 3 actually, with these slash lines running along the flanks. And we've actually got the slightly sportier ST line model, which adds a sporty body kit and this very cool honeycomb grille. Now, although the design may be a bit maverick, certainly when compared to the ever so sensible Volkswagen Golf, Ford is quite grounded in what it aims to achieve, which is a higher quality fit and finish and an all-round more user-friendly package. So let's see how that translates. Well, if you were to step into the Focus blindfolded and have a feel around the materials here and this streamlined layout and this domineering touchscreen, you'd think, okay. Then you open your eyes and suddenly it becomes a bit of a mixed bag. Yes, the design is simplified and streamlined, much better than the Mark III Focus, that's for sure, and a lot of the materials are of a really good quality, but the overall design's just a bit bland. It just goes to show how effective those little chrome strips are that you get in VW Group models. They really do help distract you from the dark plastics. But of course, aesthetics are subjective, and when it comes to user friendliness, which is what Ford wanted to focus on, pun intended, then yeah, the interior is a lot more rounded, provided you go for something from Z-Tech trim upwards. Otherwise, the entry-level model gets a really tiny screen here with big buttons either side, and yeah, you don't want it, trust me. The Focus does offer a really logical layout though, with just enough buttons here to offer convenience without it feeling too cluttered. And we've actually got an optional £400 head-up display, which is a nice touch. Now, as with most current Fords, the trim levels are plentiful and a little convoluted, but like I said before, go for the Z-Tech trim and you'll be fine. There's loads of great kit on offer, or go for the titanium trim if you want a bit of luxury like heated seats. But saying that, all entry-level models still get aircon, Bluetooth, DAB radio and lane keep assist. The main attraction tech-wise in here is this Sync 3 system. Now, once you get used to the correct voice commands and get used to fiddling with it on the move, which can be a bit tricky, then yeah, it is a good all-round system, although the graphics aren't groundbreaking. But like I say, all-round it is pretty good. Practicality in the cabin is pretty good all round as well. There's loads of adjustments in the driver's seat so you can get comfy. We've actually got an electrically adjustable driver's seat. These door bins are a decent size with a felt lining. There's two big cup holders here and no manual handbrake, which gives you a bit more wiggle room when it comes to storage. There's a decent sized glove box, some storage here in the center, and this armrest has a rather handy removable shelf. So the new platform the Focus is built on, and more importantly the longer wheelbase, really comes into its own when you're in the rear. I mean, look at the amount of legroom I've got. There's absolutely tons of it. And okay, I'm only a short guy and this is set up for me, but even with 6-footers driving, you won't have any problems with legroom in the back. Headroom's pretty good as well, even if you do go for this optional £1,000 panoramic roof. Now this middle seat is slightly raised, but thankfully there's not a big transmission tunnel here, so your legs aren't obstructed. So yeah, practicality in the back of the Focus is really good, especially when it comes to that legroom. I mean, there's loads of it. So, new platform means loads more boot space, right? Well, unfortunately not, but that's not to say the Focus's boot is small. I mean, there's 375 litres with the seats up and 1,354 litres with the seats down. Now that latter figure means it's bigger than the Volkswagen Golf. Okay, you do get a bit of a load lip here, and there's none of those simply clever doodads you get in something like a Skoda Octavia, like a detachable torch or even a luggage divider, but I don't know, maybe we're just a bit spoiled nowadays. So you can't talk about the Ford Focus without mentioning the words fun to drive. So is the new Ford Focus fun? Well, around town it feels pretty much like any other hatchback. The ride handles most bumps with ease, the steering is responsive, and yeah, visibility all round's okay. But that's not where the Ford Focus really shines. Its real home has always been twisty country roads, and I'm happy to say that is still very much the case. Get it up to speed on a country road and you can almost feel its muscles tense. It's agile, body control and grip is second to none in the hatch segment, and the steering does exactly what you tell it to, so much so it makes you want to take corners just a little bit faster than usual, safely of course, just to feel the chassis doing its thing. It really is a joy to drive. Similar to the trim lineup, there are several different engine configurations to choose from, but if you want decent performance and impressive fuel economy, then you'll go for the 120 horsepower 1.5 litre Ecoblue diesel that we're testing. Now this should comfortably return around 50 to 60 miles per gallon, providing you're doing a decent amount of motorway driving, and with CO2 of just 99 grams per kilometre, you're looking at a 27% BIK tax bracket for 2019 and 2020. Now, although this diesel offers some pretty solid fuel economy figures, it's got to be said, it is loud, at least at lower speeds and especially on a cold start on a wintry morning. And the long first gear ratio of this 8-speed automatic gearbox doesn't help that noise either. But this 8-speed auto does offer seamless gear changes when you're up to speed, and it even comes with a Jaguar-esque gear toggle. Now, there are suspension and adaptive damper alterations you can specify with the Focus, but really, in terms of overall comfort and agility, you're better just going for the standard setup. Now, if you are after adrenaline-fueled hot hatch-like performance, then go for a hot hatch. And to be honest, this ST line model, unless you simply have to have that body kit, isn't really worth the money. I mean, this test car cost £31,500. That's a £26,500 list price and £5,000 worth of extras. Nope, you're better just going for the Z-Tech or the Titanium if you're after something a bit more luxurious. But it does feel like Ford have taken things up a notch and have started to match their more luxurious rivals when it comes to standard kit, optional kit and practicality. I mean, sure, that interior isn't quite as fancy and the exterior may be geared more towards younger drivers. But if you're after something that's, well, not German, and you want something that's genuinely fun to drive, then voila,